At the height of the financial crisis, Greek banks faced the prospect of being nationalized. Here to tell us how one bank escaped that fate and was able to make a dramatic rebound, Dimosthenis Arhodidis. Now, Dimos, as you just heard me mention, the ECB was able to eventually give back control of Greek banks. Can you tell me how you and your bank were able to get out of that path of darkness?
Eurobank went a difficult time for the last 3 or 4 years. Essentially, the turnaround of Eurobank started in June 2013. The management of the bank changed, and we basically acquired the Greek Postal Savings Bank, which gave us extra liquidity in order to get back into the market and be able to finance the Greek economy. However, the most important event occurred last May when we recapitalized the bank by raising 2.8 billion euros from the international markets, especially from a group of anchor investors comprising of Fairfax, Wilbur Ross, Capital Research, Fidelity, Mackenzie, and Brookfield. This group of anchor investors is essentially our main shareholder right now, holding half of the shares which are not owned by the HFSF. The Hellenic Financial Stability Fund still owns 35% of Eurobank. However, 65% of the shares are owned by international investors and other Greek individual investors. As a result, Eurobank is essentially the most privately owned bank in Greece, and hopefully we will be able in the years to come to return the funds that the HFSF contributed to the bank.
Now, you talked about the foreign investors a little bit. Tell me about the ambitions of your local investors. I know there was a crisis of confidence, of course, when the crisis hit. Tell me, how are local investors feeling?
Big percentage of the local investors withdrew their money from Greek banks during the crisis between 2010 and 2012. With the change of government, with the elections that occurred almost 2.5 years ago now, the confidence of the Greek investors came back, and they started bringing some money back to Greece, and they started feeling better about the Greek economy. Obviously, this confidence has been building over the last 2.5 years. The last few weeks have not been that great because there seems to be some political instability back in Greece. However, we hope that this political instability will subside. Building of confidence of Greek investors will continue.
Now, in building that confidence, Dimos, can you tell me, what are your private banking customers that are Greek spending their money on? Is it domestic or international investments?
Having been through the Greek crisis, they seem to understand now that they need to diversify their investment portfolios from the Greek markets to foreign markets, although the Greek market has given very good returns in the last 2.5 years. However, overall, private banking client with Eurobank needs to feel and needs to act like a global investor with access to the global markets. So what we try to convince them is that besides the Greek risk, they should also have non-Greek risk in their portfolios, and the percentage of Greek risk should be smaller than what it is right now for the average private banking Greek investor.
Speaking of risk, can you tell me how much are they actually willing to take on for those that want to maybe push the boundaries more so than others?
We have seen a shift during the last 12 months. Greek investors are willing to take more risk. They feel a little bit more comfortable about the Greek situation and the international situation. Before the middle of 2013, what they were concerned about was to preserve their capital. But after that, as they started feeling more confident, they're trying to take more risk in order to increase their returns. However, how much risk they want to take, there's not a blanket answer. It depends on the risk profile of each client, and what we try to do at Eurobank is to actually profile as accurately as possible the risk appetite of each client and essentially guide him based on that.
Now, your riskiest clients, has their tone become more muted since the crisis, or are they even willing to hit back hard?
Well, the high-risk clients, the risk appetite became muted, but now they've come back strong.
Great.
And essentially, those are the clients that are trying to assume more Greek risk in their portfolios because, as you know, the yield from the Greek bond markets and the Greek stock market have been quite attractive. However, our guidance is that they need to step back. They need to understand that risk is something that they do not see, but it hits you hard when it comes. So we try to make them understand that they still need to diversify, and they still need to control the percentage of their portfolio that is assuming Greek risk.
Dimos, finally, what does the future hold for Eurobank?
Well, hopefully the Greek economy will start growing again. I mean, it's not only for Eurobank, it's for the entire Greek banking system, what I'm going to say. We expect a growth rate of between 0.5% and 1% for Greece for 2014, which is the first good year the first positive year after 6 years of recession. This will essentially impact positively all Greek banks, Eurobank as well. It will impact the confidence of clients positively, and hopefully more assets under management will come back to Eurobank, either in Greece or in Luxembourg, where we have a subsidiary providing wealth management services as well.
Dimos, sounds like you've got an exciting future ahead. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and it was a pleasure to be here as well.